Hey guys, welcome to the Athletic Aesthetic Podcast, where art and sports connect through conversation. On today's episode, I have a guest, a friend of mine. His name is Khalil Smith. He's a college football player, plays for West Virginia Wesleyan, which is a Division II school in West Virginia. It's in the conference that my alma mater, West Liberty, we used to play them every single year, and they still do. So I have that connection with my guest, but I have a much deeper conversation that we're talking about that goes far past sports. But the heart of this podcast, if you guys have watched the intro or episode 1, it's a collective conversation of creatives, athletes, basically anything that has to do with connecting the aesthetic side of sports to the athletic side of sports. So wherever you find yourself on that spectrum, this podcast is for you. And I know that it's going to speak into your life in some way, whether it would be inspire your creativity, teach you something that you didn't know about the behind the scenes of how the sports culture and world comes together through a creative lens. Whatever that may be, I know that today's episode is going to speak to you. It's going to find you because my guest Khalil has been going through a battle for, I think about 2 years now, and he'll get into his story. I'm not going to tell his story, but he's been fighting and he has beat cancer 2 times now. The kid is only a sophomore in college, and he has already beat cancer twice. So his story is absolutely insane. We were brought together by my art. I made a pair of custom shoes for him, which we'll get into that as well. But if you want a perspective, change, if you want to, really kind of like look at your life through a different viewpoint, his story will do that for you. I know for me personally, it's easy for me to get in my day-to-day work, and I do what I love to do for a living. Like I get to paint, I make art for a living. So it's if I can find inconveniences or things that I don't look forward to about my day-to-day life, or I take for granted, or whatever it may be, I know that other people do as well. And so after sitting down with Khalil, it made me really really thankful for the life that I do have, the health that I have, my family, all those things. We touch, a little bit of everything. As when you're a young, it doesn't matter what age you are, but especially when you're young, when you're fighting something like cancer, it kind of puts everything else into perspective. So I'm so excited for this interview. I'm not going to waste too much more time before we jump into it. We will share at the end of this on social media. There's a video of Khalil, myself, and his family when we actually did the interview, and then we left the studio, went straight to the hospital, and he got to ring the bell for his final chemo treatment. So his 24th chemo treatment he completed on the same day that this podcast was recorded. So it was a very emotional day. He was really excited. His dad was in the studio with us. We were just celebrating all that he's been through. So take a listen to his story. Now, I want to say this. This is obviously a new podcast, and as you could tell here on the intro, I'm in my home studio, so it's a little bit more controlled of an environment. I am still learning through the podcast process of how to properly, record 2 people on one device. So all that to say, the quality of the podcast is something I'm actively working to make better with every single episode. I think that the quality of this interview could have been better for sure, and you'll hear that a little bit. There will be some parts. We did a lot of editing to it to make it, sound as good as possible, but we're learning that we're going to have to get some new equipment in that studio when we have more than one person in one recording. So bear with me on the quality of this. I promise you that this podcast's quality is going to only continue to improve from here. But I think what he says is worth so much more than quality can contain. So I think definitely give this a listen. It's worth it. Let me know, on social media or whatever, how this speaks to you. I'd love to connect with you guys. Hit subscribe on the page. But without further ado, we're going to jump into episode 2 of the Athletic Aesthetic Podcast. All right, guys, before we jump into the interview, I want to shout out our sponsors, Candelore's Barking Beauties. Now, if you're local to the Pittsburgh area, you definitely want to check them out. They have 5 local, no appointment needed salons for your dog. They're located in Elizabeth, White Oak, Finleyville, Monongahela, and the Irwin area. All breeds are welcome. All size dogs are welcome. If you'd like more information, you can call 412-872-5550 for grooming information, or just visit CandalorsBarkingBeauties.com. They also offer boarding and daycare, and if you'd like some information on that, you can give them a call at 412-824-8440. That's Candelor's Barking Beauties, where our salon is your salon. So now, let's get to the episode.
No, it's cool. I just wanted to make sure. There go another one. Would you rather eat nothing but salad or nothing but dessert for a week?
Nothing but salad and nothing but dessert for a week?
Yeah.
Nothing but salad. For sure. But like, can I put like good stuff on it? Like cranberries and pecans and like.
Yeah, you could make your own salad.
I could crush some salads for like.
Before a week though. It's a long time.
No meat on the salad?
Like, you got meat?
Oh, dude, all day.
I feel like you should.
Bro, after 2 days of eating like cake, I would just. I would be rough. You know, maybe like if I'm like 30 now. That's not even an option for me. Like that's just like life or death. Like I'm not making it through a week of just dessert. What about you? You do salad? Right?
Yeah, I do the salad.
Yeah. What about?
There's a lot of stuff you can put on the salad.
Right, that's what I'm saying. What about the jail? So I don't know if we got it on the recording, but so what is it? It's
would you rather go to jail for a crime that you didn't commit, or someone else go to jail for a crime that you did commit?
Yeah. So I this one comes down to just like morality. Like like am I willing to like serve somebody else's time to remove the guilty conscience of someone else from, serving my time.
That's a good one.
Because you're just.
I mean, it depends what the crime is, though.
Yeah.
It depends what the crime is.
Okay, so let's take it further. So if you're going to jail for 20 years for like a hit and run or something like that, you killed somebody, and you didn't do it, you got framed, or somebody else is serving a life sentence for something that you did. Like they're in jail for life, or you got to spend 20. Like you're basically taking somebody's freedom away for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Or you got to spend 20 years for something that you didn't even do.
I'm not gonna lie. They gonna have to take that life. Yeah, I'll put someone in books.
Your life purpose is gonna be to set them free.
Yeah, I'll make sure they right in jail at least. They got some snacks, they got some food, but I can't be in there 20 years. Can't be in there.
I know, man. It's like I want to be the person that's like, nah, dude, I'd serve that sentence, but 20 years.
20 years.
I'm
That's
coming
a
out
long
at
time.
50.
iPhone 13's out right now, so 20 years.
Yeah.
Talking about like an iPhone 33.
I like that your like sense of like how much time would pass is in like iPhone years.
like 20 years. I know how many courses gonna come out.
How many sneaker drops?
Shoes.
You're gonna make?
Yeah, like everything.
Or like all your sneakers are just gonna be like crumbled by the time you get out. Like all the phones are gonna just be like.
I can't risk it. I'll look out though for the people that took my life sentence. Dude. I'll look out. I'll make sure they right.
How you gonna take care of them?
Well, I got some shoes. Sell some shoes. I make sure they right.
Yeah, you gotta take care of their family and stuff now.
Hopefully, they don't got no family.
Yeah, because that's gonna add to the guilty conscience. You're just like,
hopefully it's just them.
He's got like a daughter or something that's got to now grow up and just be like, damn.
Hopefully it's just them. Just them.
Well, that's dope, man. Well, I'm glad you're here. Today's like a really exciting day. I'm honored to be a part of this. We're gonna get into that in a little bit. I did like a little intro to this before I sat down with you, so they kind of know who you are. You don't have to like explain like all that, but I didn't give like a full background. So I want to take us back to let's start with how we met,
right.
And how like we got connected. And so basically that was maybe fall last year, or I think I met with you on my birthday. So that was like August when I gave you the shoes. So anyways, your dad reached out to me where you were, in a pretty crazy time of your life, which like I said, we'll get into, but like he wanted to do a pair of shoes, which you actually got on right now. I don't know if the camera shot can you like lift them up real quick? So you guys may have seen these in the Instagram or on social media or whatever. We got the Smith Strong on the side, and so right now you're coming to the end of your second, or how many like rounds of chemo? Not rounds, but like I don't know what's
Yeah,
the
they're rounds. So it's 24 like rounds total. It's a mess. Well, I did 12 the first time, and then I did 12 the second time, so it's 24 total.
24 total, just insane. And you, when we made these, you were just starting this sector. Like,
Now, when we started these, I was getting my surgery actually.
that's what it
Yeah,
was.
I was getting
Okay.
my surgery.
So you wanted to do the shoes to give you on like your recovery from the surgery.
Yeah.
That's what it was. But yeah, so that's how we got connected. Was your dad wanted me to do a pair of shoes, and did them. I honestly had no idea like the depth of the backstory. I just knew that people reach out to me all the time. They're like, hey, I want to get these shoes for this person. Put this hashtag on it or whatever. So as I was like making the shoes, I just knew that you wanted like Steeler design and just say Smith Strong. And so then as I delivered the shoes to him, that was like the first time that like, because it's easy to like just make something and like not really know the like why or the heart behind it. But when I met your dad, he was like, so this is what's going on. And kind of gave me the full rundown. And I was in tears. Like we were like hugging in the parking lot of his place. And anyway, so I want to go back. I want to like learn a little bit about your story, where you were, like coming out of high school. You're a D2 college, which also I got a surprise for you. Thought about wearing this.
Not the West Lid. That's the West Lid.
Would it be okay if we just
That's the West Lid.
just do the podcast like
We
this?
don't like West Lid. My school don't like West Lid.
Yeah, because you guys are like what, 0-4?
Probably. I'm not on the four though. I'm on the other one. I'm on the other one.
I was just playing, bro. Wesley was like, we were good like for a few years, but then we fell off. So I don't even know what it's like now. But so yeah, you played for West Virginia Wesleyan, which is like a rival school for where I played football. And so take me back to like you're coming out of college. When did you know you wanted to play college football? Like, what was your goal for going to play college ball? What do you want to go to school for? All that.
All right, so as a freshman, I started as a freshman for Sarah Catholic High School. I had a decent year. I had like 500 yards rushing my first year, and then my second year, my sophomore year, is when I really like took off. I had 1,400 yards rushing, probably about like 10 to 12 touchdowns, and after that, like colleges started like reaching out to me and stuff like that. I also played AAU basketball too, so like I was a dual sport athlete. So I was just like, everybody always told me like I had the potential to like go and play in school. So like that's what I always just kept my head down and kept working. Like all my coaches like that I ever played for, they always said I was a hard worker and stuff like that. So like that's how I was really focused on.
Yeah.
And then like as my season went on, I started talking to more schools, talking to bigger schools. But eventually, like you got to find the right fit for you.
Right.
So as like my recruiting process went on, some coaches fell off, some coaches, stayed around. And I took my visits and stuff, and I really like Millersville. Like Millersville was going to be like my first option.
Where's that?
It's in Harrisburg.
Okay.
So like that was like my
Is that
first
D2
school.
also?
Yes, it's D2. It's in PSAC. So they play
Okay.
like Slippery Rock and all that stuff.
Okay.
So they were like my first school. That was like my first school to ever offer me and stuff like that. And like I was the first person like in my family to actually like pursue a college sport. So I was like,
well, I had a like uncle that went to Wesleyan. And that's
Yeah.
how I got to connect. Like a second uncle or whatever it is, like once removed or however they like terminology of that. But yeah, same
yeah,
thing.
right. So
Immediate family.
so like I'm like the first one. So I'm like, if I got the opportunity, like why not?
right, man.
So I did that. I was also playing basketball. I had over 1,000 points scoring in basketball too. So like
An athlete, bro.
yeah, athlete for sure. But they came. Some coaches were talking to me for basketball, but like I just felt like I was just too small to play basketball. football just like, and I was getting more like recruiting from football and stuff like that. And
Were
then
you a shooter or are you like an athlete, kind of like what was your like ball handler?
I was a do it all.
Okay.
I was just trying to make sure we won.
Okay. Yeah.
I was just trying to make sure we
1,000
won.
points.
Yeah, over 1,000 points. Over 1,000 points.
Yeah.
But yeah, so did that. Like I think I still lead my school in rushing yards to this day. So like I had a pretty good high school career, and I ended up making my way to West Virginia Wesleyan College.
Okay.
My
And what
first
year
year
was this? Freshman year. When did you graduate high school?
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I graduated 2019, and then I went up to West Virginia Wesleyan College. I ended up committing there. The main reason why I committed was the people there.
Yeah.
It wasn't really about the school. I know
Like the coaches.
yeah, the coaches were definitely cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the main reason. Like the people, and I felt like it's somewhere I could fit in and I could play. Like I wanted to make sure I could play somewhere wherever I go.
So I just got this thought of like the whole recruiting process. If you were the recruit that went in the viral video with what's his name, Chip Kelly, when he was like dancing behind him and like would you decommit like immediately if you went viral for like this dude like grinding behind you like that?
Nah. I feel like when you commit, like you really gotta be locked in. So I was
no,
locked
bro.
in.
He ended up choosing Bama though, so
Yeah, I was locked in with my commitment. You know? But
I don't know. I go viral with a dude grinding behind me like that. I might feel some kind of way about suiting up for him. But yeah. So you found yourself at Wesleyan. This was before kind of like life got flipped upside down, right? So 2019, you get on campus, and so take me through like what was freshman year like at Wesleyan? How did that season go?
So my fall semester, I got on campus. You know, like campus stuff. Like you go from being a big fish in a small pond to a little fish in a big pond.
Like real quick.
Yeah, real quick. So I'm looking at seniors that's like 250, 260. Like I never even played with nobody that big before. I'm looking at D linemen, O linemen, 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
So it's like it could be a little intimidating at first, but like they brought me on this campus for a reason. Like they believed in my potential. So
And you went to play running back?
yeah, I wanted to play running back, and I was 185 at this point. So like 185. What I was really expecting is to come in red shirt, like learn the system and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, I was always like a hard worker, so I just put my head down and like was just always working. My coaches noticed it, like everybody noticed it. And I ended up starting on like special teams, like multiple special teams, like kickoff return,
Freshman year?
punt. Yeah, I even got a couple carries as a freshman. So like you know, like that was like my freshman year. We didn't really win a lot. Like we went 1-10, but that was like their first win in a long time. So
Really? So you guys had a
so my 2019 class got their first win
There you go.
in a long time.
So when I was at Wesleyan, my freshman year was a totally different story. We had a cast of like all stars on the squad. Like it was the best team I think Wesleyan's ever seen. We went 10-1 or something like that, and like I got redshirted that year, but I made the travel squad, so it was like an emergency redshirt. Like if I didn't, if they needed me, they would forfeit with the redshirt. But we were stacked. I think we had basically every passing or rushing record for offense. Our defense was trash. But we, like, sorry if any of my teammates, like, you guys individually weren't trash. And we let up like 50 to 60 points a game, but we would still win by 30. Like, it was insane. It's like basketball sports.
Yeah.
So, that was nuts. We had like just an incredible quarterback. So me like taking all that in and watching us put up 80 points a game for an entire and we scored 84 points against Edinburgh in a playoff game. Like they're not a scrub.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You put up 84 points. But so I remember coming off that season and I'm like, dude, if this offense is the way it is, like there's no way that if you put up that kind of numbers, you're not going to get looks at from the league, you know, at least to like some extent. So I'm just like, all I got to do is put my head down, you know, work, learn the offense, you know, and just my time will come kind of thing. And so that next year came and I was out on the field like in scrub time. This was like my red shirt freshman year. You know, we're up by 40 points. I think it was West Virginia State. Yeah, it was West Virginia State. And I'm blocking, like we're just trying to run out the clock. My running back lowers his head, dude, and just crown of his helmet like hits me in the side of the head. I'm actually wearing this helmet when it happened. That's why I kept it because you know it kind of altered my career. But dude, knocked me out, concussed me fully, like laying on the ground. And my career, that was like when my career really like took a turn because then I just battled concussions the rest of the way. So my freshman year is when like the whole like I was so optimistic about, you know, at the end of it, I'm like, wow, I'm going to be a Hall of Famer. And then like by the start of my sophomore year, which was my redshirt freshman, things had like really turned. So when for you was life kind of flipped upside down?
Towards the end of my fall semester, going into my spring semester.
Of your freshman year?
Of my freshman year, yeah. So we finished the season, but like as the season was going on, like I was just losing weight. Like I started off at 185, but I was just losing weight. Couldn't figure out why didn't really know what was up. I thought it was just because like the food was nasty at the cab. But nah, it wasn't that. Like I was like going through some like serious pain and stuff. But like I was really just keeping it to myself because I thought like eventually it'll pass and stuff like that. And then as we transitioned into my spring semester, like I was losing even more weight, and my coaches started to notice. And then we went into spring ball. In spring ball, like I was experiencing like some symptoms, like my stomach was hurting, like I was having night sweats.
Were you like were you struggling like with the weight room too? Like 'cause I
Yeah,
know like they monitor like your max and stuff as you're working out. Like were
I
you
was
starting to drop off?
yeah, I was feeling like super weak. Like that might have been the weakest I ever been.
Were you feeling like what the hell am I doing
Yeah,
wrong?
and I was thinking like at first I was thinking I'm not drinking enough water,
Yeah.
so I was drinking like a gallon of water a day. Like, but every time I would lift, I would start seeing like these black dots. Like I was about, felt like I was about to pass out. So I'm like, I'm just not gonna lift. I'm just gonna tell the coaches like I'm gonna go to the trainer. The trainers couldn't really figure out what was wrong with me, so they sent me like to like a little community service or like our community care on campus. I went there. They took my blood work and stuff, but they just said like they really couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And then eventually, like COVID happened, so they sent everybody home. And like
Thanks.
as we went home, like I was around, like I was still experiencing like the same symptoms, but I was like way more fatigued now. Like I was always tired, and I'm not really a lazy person or nothing like that. But like I was like sleeping. I was going to sleep at like 7 o'clock. Then like I was sleeping until like the next day until like 2. And then like my friend named Jeremiah, like he was with me like most of the summer, so he was just like seeing this like go on like nonstop.
Yeah.
And he was just like bro, like what's wrong with you? I'm like I don't know. I just like I can't get up. Like I just don't know.
Did anybody ever say like because I feel like if that was me, I'd just be like, I'm just like in a funk or I'm just like depressed or did that ever cross your mind? Or
No,
did you
because I
think
was
there
still like I was still doing stuff like I was doing stuff, but it was just like my energy level was always so low.
So you still had a drive to do
Yeah.
stuff, you just didn't have.
Like even when I was lifting with him, he's like, bro, I never seen you this week, and like we usually wrestle all the time because he was at a D1 program, I was at a D2 program, so like anytime like we was around each other, like we was always trying to wrestle and stuff like that. But one point in time, like he was just throwing me around, like he was like he never really been that much bigger than me, but like he was throwing me around, and I knew like something was going on, and then I was always tired. Like we used to do the same exercises, and it used to take me like forever to get my wind back, like. I used to have a headache and stuff like that, and he used to just snap right back. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then like as Mother's Day came around, I got on the scale again, and I was 155.
This was Mother's Day 2020.
Mother's Day, yeah, like 2020. So I got on the scale, and that was 155, and like this is when like something like went off in my head. Like there's no way.
What were you like end of freshman year? End of freshman season, I should say.
In the freshman season, I went down to like 170.
But what were you like at your height, like when you were healthy, like fully?
I was 185.
185.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah, that's 30 pounds.
So I was 155. So the next thing I did, I called my dad. I'm like, yeah, like I'm losing weight. I'm 155. My stomach's still hurting. I'm still going through like these night sweats and stuff like that. Like I don't know what to do. He was like, we were just gonna call, make an appointment. So we called, try to make an appointment. They said, yeah, I can't get you in here for like the next 2 weeks.
COVID, huh?
Yeah, and I'm like,
So that's crazy too. Like that's another like perspective shift too. Like people, we've all been going through like COVID, you know, for 2-3 years now. It feels like, but to go through like the start of COVID, and also like have these issues going on, your mind was probably
yeah, it was
just,
like a double whammy. Basically.
yeah, man, that's insane.
So like I called up like my PCP and stuff. They was like, we can't get you in for 2 weeks. So I called my dad. Like they said they can't get me in here for 2 weeks. He made something shake, and I was able to get in there probably like the next day or like within the next 2 days.
Yeah.
So I go in there like it was like, we don't know what's wrong with you. We're gonna run these tests, take some blood work. They're taking my blood work, and they started to notice like my hemoglobin levels were like low, like way lower than normal. So that means I was bleeding like from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So they're running these tests. They was like, we don't know where you're bleeding from.
Yeah.
So we're gonna send you to a GI doctor. I go to the GI doctor that next day. Like the GI doctor's like breaking it down to me, like we're gonna run these tests too. It doesn't seem like it's gonna be a big deal. Eventually, like when I leave the GI doctor, I get a call not even 30 minutes later. Like, yeah, you're bleeding like internally. You gotta go to the emergency. So pack my stuff up. I go to the emergency room, but I'm thinking like I'm in an emergency room probably like like 30 minutes to an hour, and I'm gonna get out of here, go home. And that never happened. I went into the emergency room, and I never ended up leaving. They ended up giving me like a CT scan, stuff like that. But since it was COVID and I was like of age, I was 19. They didn't let my dad in there or nothing like that. So I was in there by myself for a minute and running through my tests and stuff like that. Eventually, they let my dad in there. Like we were sitting there talking. He was able to sit with me until my CT scan was over, and then I got admitted into my room. And then later that night, the CT scan results came back, and he basically just came up to me and was like, "Yeah, like you got three tumors in your body. Like you're gonna have to stay here with us over the weekend, stuff like that." So I called my dad immediately, like, "Yeah, like this is what they told me. I don't really know what this means, but like I don't even know how this got there. But yeah, they just told me I got three tumors. They got to run some more tests." Then the next day, like I go through the test, they're still testing me to try to figure out if they're like malignant, cancerous, all this stuff. And then I found out eventually like one of my tumors broke, and that's how I was like bleeding internally, and it could have been bleeding like for anywhere from like 3 weeks to like months. So like I was just in there, I was bleeding internally for this whole time, and that's why I was losing my weight and stuff like that.
And had no energy and all that.
Yeah, no energy, was fatigued, all that stuff. So I was just in there like going through that. Eventually, like my doctors came in. They had a plan, but they weren't really like telling me like their full plan details. Like they were just like kind of like skipping around stuff. Like, yeah, I think we're going to do this. I think we're going to do this. But I'm just like, why y'all like saying y'all are going to do this stuff? But I don't actually know what was wrong. But they knew what was wrong, but they just didn't want to tell me to scare me or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And eventually, like I got it was like, yeah, we need to have a little surgery, put a port in. And like this is off like foreign language to me. Like what is a port? So like it was like it's just like a little device that we put in your chest. It's not gonna take too long. Like it's a slight little surgery. I'm like, I mean, I don't understand why I'm getting a port in if y'all don't. Like what's my plan of action after that? But I guess they were just waiting like for that week in the past to tell me like you're gonna have to get surgery and stuff like that. So they put the port in. The port was implanted, and then I was in the hospital from May 14th to May 19th, and then that's when they finally told me like, yeah, you were diagnosed with like stage 4 colon cancer.
What was the name of it?
Poorly differentiated adenocarcinoma or something like that. Yeah, but like some big old words, but it's really just stage 4 colon cancer. It's the simplest way to put it. And they told me, so from May 14th to May 19th, I was in the hospital. Like I was going through it. Like I hated being in the hospital. Like I just felt like the hospital was just taking my spirits away. Like you really can't look outside. They won't let you outside. I got all these needles in me. Like all I wanted to do was go home. So eventually they finally let me go home from May 19th, and then they were like, we're gonna have a meeting, like all the doctors, and figure out which like your surgical plan, and all that stuff. Like at first they wanted to do the chemo first. That's why they like put the port in me. But I guess over that weekend or whatever, when they discussed it, they was like, yeah, we think the best option for you is to have a surgery first. I'm like, I mean, all right, like, so like, what's the surgery details? They tell me like it's a 8-hour plus surgery. I'm like, 8-hour surgery. I never even did not like this, but this is what I gotta do. This is what I gotta do. I done made it this far. Like this is what I gotta do. So they called me on May 25th. And I go in there May 26th to go get my surgery. Go in there at 6:00 in the morning. First one in there, and like they take you through like the regular check-in questions and all that stuff. But like I said, it was like the COVID and stuff, so they didn't really like let my dad like in there until I was like about to go into my surgery basically. So we go in there, and they take you through the process. They let you meet everybody that's going to be in there with you. Take you through your trial runs, take you through your pills and all that stuff. And eventually, I met my surgeon. His name was Dr. McCormick, and he comes in there and was like, "Yeah, like Khalil, are you ready?" I'm like, I mean, are you ready? Cause like my life is in your hands right now, so like I need to know that you're ready. If not, we could just set this up another day. He was like, Yeah, I'm ready. Like I done done this before. Like just believe you. Like you're in the best hands possible. So I took his word for it. Like I had no other option. Like this is basically life or death right now. Like so you go, I go in there, go through like an 8 hour surgery. I went in there at probably like 6 in the morning. I didn't get out till probably like I didn't wake up, be able to like get my phone and stuff till like 5, 6. And they was like, yeah, like we removed all the tumors from your body. Like I think you're good. So I was in the hospital from there. I had to do like my physical therapy stuff like that. But the biggest thing, like once I got out of the hospital from my surgery, was like I didn't feel like myself. Like something was different. Like I went to sleep one way and I woke up a completely different way. Like it just didn't. I didn't feel like the normal me. And like physical
What do
therapist,
you mean by that? Like you just
cause like you go to sleep. I went to sleep probably like 1:55. I woke up out of my surgery. I was like 1:30.
Wow.
I was a featherweight. Like I was super little. Like just none of my clothes fit, none of my shoes fit, like nothing fit. Like I was just felt like I was a completely different person. Like and then like it took like a big put on my mental because like I'm only 19. Like
yeah.
I went to sleep one way and I woke up a completely different way. Like 1:30. I wasn't 1:30 since like middle school.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you started this process
Yeah.
at 185.
So like I'm just like I didn't want to really go. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to like do anything. I just really wanted to sit in the house. And like people wanted to come see me. Like I was real distant. I didn't want anybody to come see me. Like
So how did your we'll come back to like the whole timeline of this. How did your team react to this news? Like how was your coaching staff? Were they supportive? Were they I mean obviously they were, but like how did they kind of help? How did sports kind of help you through this initial diagnosis?
They were just surprised because my coaches know this before anybody. Because like you're around your coaches most of the time, so they knew something was going on, but they're not like some of them don't have medical backgrounds and stuff like that, so they only could do what they could do, and I was just telling. They were just basically telling me like you need to eat more, like you're not eating enough. I'm like I don't think
Typical
it's that.
coach
Yeah, like the
response to
typical,
everything.
like you're not eating enough, like you need to lift more. So I'm doing this stuff, but like I said, like it was like basically like driving me like down, like it was taking more energy out of me. Like I was going to sleep in class and stuff like that. Like I'm like, oh man, I don't know what's going on. And then I also had a roommate and like like in the dorm, like people see you out of town, and people just looking at me like, bro, you don't look alright. Like you sure you alright? I'm like, I think I am, but I don't really know. Like something just feels off.
Yeah.
But like like when you're young, you really can't explain it because I didn't really have too much of a medical history, like background history or nothing like that. Like I never really experienced none of this stuff, so I'm like, I'm gonna be alright. Like I'm just gonna give it a week or two. But COVID happening and I sent us home like really like eventually like saved my life because they said if we didn't get sent home, I would have ended up like eventually like passing out and I would have been in an emergency room from there because I was bleeding internally for so long.
So combination of like having people in your life like coaches and teammates to kind of like notice something, and then I mean just the like timing of being sent home. Like you think if you weren't playing college football at the time, do you think like you would have caught it? Do you think?
I think it would have been a little bit too late because if we would have stayed up school, they said like I would have had like possibly like between 2 to 3 months, and the semester was not open until May. So like COVID like really like saved my life for it. Because I was always the one that like try to push through the problems and stuff like that. But like at a certain point in time, like my body was just gonna shut down on me. So like the COVID really saved my life.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's
I mean just like that. Those words like put into a sentence are not something that you hear on like COVID saved my life. But dude, I mean, I'm so glad that you caught this. I'm so glad that we're sitting here right now. So let's fast forward a little bit. You went through the first round of the whole chemo, all that stuff, and you were cancer free, right?
Well, that's what they thought. Yeah.
Okay. So pick me up right there.
So once you finish your treatments, they take you through like you gotta do like CT scans. It's one for 3 months and then another one 6 months after that. So my first one in January, I did it for like that was my 3 month scan. So I was able to go back to school like in the spring and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, I'm just go home, get my scan, everything's gonna be cool. I got my first scan, they said they didn't see nothing. So I'm like, oh, that's a great sign. And then later in June, I went to go get another scan, and I got a call, but like I got a call like 5:36. I'm like, the doctor's office is never open like at 5:36. They usually close at like 4. I got a call, missed a call. I got another call, missed a call, and like I got 2 voicemails now. But this is not from the doctor's office. This is like from my doctor's like personal number. He's like, yeah, Khalil, I just reviewed your scan. Like, could you call me back immediately? So the first thing I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, this got to be good news. Like, he's calling me off his personal phone. Like, this got to be some good news. He called me like, yeah, we looked at your scan and stuff, and it looks like your tumor has returned. Like, hearing those words, like, it just broke me down. Like, what do you mean? I just went through all this stuff. Like, you said like I was gonna be good after this. Like, how did my tumors return? He was like, I don't really know. Like, your tumor was so big the first time and it broke. Like, there was a possibility this could happen. But like, we need to see you in the office like immediately. So I called my dad. I told him what's going on. And at this point in time, I'm at a graduation party. So I'm like, dang, like, how could this be happening right now? Like, it just took me like a whole flashback. Like, how could this be happening right now? Like, not again. So I go through that, call my dad and stuff, and they bring me into the office, and they basically tell me like, yeah, like the way it's looking, you're probably gonna need another surgery. Hearing them words, I'm like, I don't know if I could do another surgery. Like, I just finished this. I just did all this stuff. I worked so hard to get to this point, and then y'all trying to take it all away from me again. So like, I was real hesitant on like doing another surgery. Then they're talking about another chemo treatments. I'm like, I don't really know. So this was June.
June of this past year,
Yeah,
2021.
2021. So this was June, and I'm like, like, y'all just gonna have to give me some time to think. Like, my last summer, y'all took my whole summer away. I was on chemo treatments the whole time. Like, I just want to enjoy my summer. It's like, all right, we can respect that, but we need to make a decision soon, or it's gonna get worse. I'm like, that's fine. It's like, let me finish my summer though. So that leading to me like taking a whole bunch of trips. Like, went to North Carolina, Texas, South Carolina, Philly. Like, I was just Puerto Rico. Like, I was going anywhere and everywhere, like, just to clear my mind. Like, I just didn't want to be around. I didn't want to hear nothing about doctor's appointments, nothing about treatments, nothing about none of that. I just really wanted to like enjoy my summer because they done took it away from me like twice now. So eventually, like, as time goes on, it hit like July, and I'm in Virginia, like, with my aunts and stuff. They called me like, yeah, we're trying to set up a surgery like after July 4th. Shut that down immediately. I'm not ready yet. I told them I'm not ready. They was like, I would like, just let us know.
Do you think that like going through the whole first round like made you like that's like a bold thing? You're just like, nah, I'm just gonna wait. Like, you think you're just like fearless now? Like, you're just. Like,
I mean, the one thing my doctors told me is that we work for you. Yeah. So I'm like, if y'all work for me, then y'all can't rush me to do anything. Like, I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna like fully process everything. Like, I'm gonna weigh out my options. And like, when I'm ready to make a decision, I won't make my decision. Like, y'all can't force me to make a decision.
Well, I think there's wisdom in that too, because I mean, chemo really is like a whole battle. So if you're mentally not ready to go into it, I think that it's so much more effective for you to be like mentally in a good place and take that time to prepare and be ready. So that's.
Yeah, so I just told him,
you got to be strong to be able to make that decision.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, I had open communication with my daughter multiple times. We was on like little Zoom calls and stuff, and I like told them what I was worried about. They told me, their idea of how things were gonna go. But if I wasn't ready at that time, I just told them I wasn't ready at that time. And then eventually, like, I came back from all my trips. It was like going into August, and I was trying to start school like online since I knew I was gonna have to get a surgery and stuff, but. Leading up to my surgery, I was calling like everywhere. Like, I was calling like multiple like cancer institutes, like everywhere. Like, and eventually I was about to go to Chicago, like to because they said they might have a different treatment that didn't require a surgery. But this is like a week before I already scheduled my surgery. So I was weighing it out, and like just a couple days before, I'm like, all right, I think I'm ready. I'm just gonna get the surgery. Like, I'm tired of like holding out. Like, it's either now or never. So like August 16th, I go in, I get my surgery, another 10-hour surgery. Go in there at like 6, don't get up to like 4 or 5. And Like they said, everything went well. Then I was in there for about a week, and when I got out the hospital, I started school that next Monday. So like, I just went through a 10-hour surgery, and I started school on Monday. So like, people say I'm crazy. People say like all types of stuff, but I'm like, I got to get back to some type of normalcy. Like this is what I do. I do school, but I was online and stuff like that. But I had support from everybody. So I go through that, and then, like probably about a week or two after that, I started my chemo treatments again for the second time. But like going through chemo and stuff is rough, especially this time. My first one wasn't as rough, but my second one was definitely really rough.
Yeah. So you're coming up on the end of that round. That brings us up to like right now.
Yeah.
Right? So update me on like, okay, not just how are you feeling today to be able to finally get disconnected, right? So
Man.
what's your like? If you could like explain your emotions for today.
It's like something off a movie for real. Like, going through this twice is like crazy, but
Yeah.
like just grateful to be able to go through it. I mean, it definitely had some ups, downs, struggles for sure for the last 6 months, but like I really never let that weigh me down. Like I was always just worried about finishing this. Like,
It blows me away because I don't know if you guys remember I posted a picture like at the start of your chemo. You came in here, we did like a whole thing, and then we actually like we were like, you know what, we need to have you come back when you're at the end of this journey,
Yeah.
and we need to talk but the crazy thing that blew me away was you're the same person like right now that you were when you were starting this, and like your spirits have not changed. So like, how has your outlook, I guess, on life changed from going into like freshman year, your goals for your life? Like how do you look at life differently now versus when you were a freshman?
it makes you grow up a lot faster. You can't when you wake up. Well, now when I wake up, I know like life is not promised. Like anything can happen at any point in time. So like you got to take full advantage of like any and every opportunity that like presents itself to you. So like that's just how I try to live my life. I wasn't really talking to people as much as I did, but now I just talk to whoever about whatever.
Yeah.
Anybody that asks me questions about like my treatments and stuff like that, like I'm willing to tell them because like some people never had firsthand experience with that, and the more knowledge you can get out about it is always the better because now I could be in a position to save somebody else's life or put somebody else in a good position, so they don't have to worry about this stuff.
So you think like your perspective shift went more from about your goals and your ambitions to like how you fit in with other people's lives and like how you can help them and be there for them. I mean, dude, I gotta give you credit, man. Like I don't know many people that can go through what you went through with like a smile on your face the whole time. I know like if I have like a minor inconvenience, some days I'm like miserable and I see and then I'm like reminded of like what you've been through and what you like are still going through and all this stuff. But yeah, man, I'm glad to be a part of this journey to like the small
Yeah.
like minor percentage that I am. And I know that you've had a lot of people kind of come alongside you throughout this process and help you through, whether it be your teammates or your family or friends or whatever. And I think you said you had something that you wrote or that you wanted to.
Yeah, I got a little something typed up.
All right, cool. Do you want to go ahead and pull that out?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. I wrote this probably like on my sixth treatment, like when I was halfway through it, and
So
I
you
just
had this for a minute.
I just started adding on to it, like as my treatments went on and stuff like that. But as I stand here in front of y'all today, all I can say is, wow, this seems like something off of a movie. After 24 chemo treatments, 15 plus surgeries, over 300 times being poked with a needle, I still able to stand on my own 2 feet. I just want to say thank you to my dad, family, friends, coaches, teammates, and supporters from all over the world that supported me through this difficult time. All the times I am told that I'm a soldier and I'm the strongest person that people know, and it's such an honor. This journey has been such a struggle, but being able to achieve this moment not once but twice is a blessing. I honestly can't even describe how I'm feeling right now. I'm just beyond blessed. For those who know my story, it's just a reminder it's not what you go through, it's what you grow through. Dear cancer, thank you for changing my life for the better, and you can't defeat me. This is a battle of the beast that I'm winning. Sincerely, Khalil Smith, the colon rapper.
Hey, man. Dude, that's so beautiful, man.
Yeah, so
I love that so much.
yeah, that's just something off the dome. But yeah, that's just how I've been feeling through these chemo treatments. They've been trying to knock me down. Like every time I get one, like every single time they've been trying to knock me down. But like I never let that phase me. Like I feel like like I'm just unstoppable right now. So like being able to complete not just 12 but 24, like yeah, it's a big step.
You feel like you can do anything in life now?
Yeah,
Like there's nothing that's gonna.
yeah. I don't nothing put fear in my heart. Like
Yeah.
I'm not scared of nothing. Like this is what it is. Like this is the raw, uncut me. Like this is how I am every day. Like my teammates know, my coaches know. Like this is just how it is. This is who I am.
When are you getting back on the field? What's your goal?
My goal to get back on the field is this fall. I got a couple more surgeries to go through, but if all goes well, you feel me, and my scans come back clear and all that, I plan to get back on the field this fall. My coaches been supporting me. I've been working out. I've been doing everything I'm supposed to do, but it's not really in my hands right now. So when that time comes, we'll just figure that out.
Well, when you step foot on this field, we're gonna have to get you in some fresh kicks.
Always.
We're gonna have to
Always.
deck you out.
Always.
And I'm gonna be there for sure. So
Always.
especially it's against my boys up at Wesleyan. I don't know how that.
Forget Wesley.
Well, bro, I really appreciate you being here. We're actually about to head out, so we got to get to the hospital by like noon today. You're gonna ring the bell, move the port, end this, for the last time today, and we're gonna move forward with life. And so, if you guys are watching this and this is the first time you're meeting Khalil, I want you to be able to connect with him, send him maybe like a word of encouragement, or maybe like something that he said that spoke to you, or something you're going through, because I know there's a lot of people that watch this that are either athletes or just into fashion, design, sports, culture type stuff like that. And a lot of that there's ups and downs with being a student athlete, being somebody who's subjected to criticism for their performance and all this stuff. So there's just so many different ways that what you said today can put life into perspective. So if what Khalil said spoke to you the way that I know that it spoke to me, like please reach out to him, let him know that he's not alone, or that you are supporting him or whatever. Follow him. What's your Instagram?
All right, so I got 2 Instagrams. My main page is polo__Lil, and then I got a motivational page. It's motivational_Lil. So those are my 2 pages. You could DM me any of that.
And you just started a podcast yourself, right?
I did just start a podcast.
You want to plug that?
Yeah, my podcast is it's mostly just for fun. It's called What's the Deal Podcast. Actually, I just dropped the episode today. It's supposed to be dropping at 11:30.
Where can they get it?
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. So
Okay, I'll put the links in the description too, so they can.
So y'all can tune into that. The first episode was a banger. The second one should be fun, and I'm gonna just keep doing that stuff too. Like this is just in my off time while I'm up school. So yeah, tune into that. Let me know what y'all think, and any questions or anything like that, just DM me. I'll answer.
Well, thanks for being here, man.
No doubt, I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been fun.